Today we're going to continue the build on the big one. Yes, we're going to continue building that nozzle engine holder assembly and the engine bayonet lock ring, and cutting out the track for that. It's the slots where the pins are going to be going into when you install the nozzle. Oh brother, that sucks. The engine bayonet lock ring, plus we're going to cut out the pin tracks for that. And we're going to make the bayonet lock ring cover and install that on there too. And finally, the nozzle stop ring. Okay? Yeah, you guys, you've noticed I cut my hair. I cut my own hair. It's not perfect or anything, but saved 40 bucks or something. Prices now are ridiculous. I'll just cut it and it'll just grow back anyway. Why pay somebody else to do it, you know? It's just like combing your hair. You just take that razor and boom, you're done, you know? Simple procedure if you get used to it. But anyway, let's get on with this build. Alright, here we go. You might want to take a look at these drawings. Okay? Like usual, pause the video, look at them real good, study them, print them out, do whatever you want with one. This is the engine lock ring shim. And next we'll be making the engine bayonet lock ring. Could pause that and study that for a minute. Okay. And there we go. Bayonet lock ring cover. Just like that. And finally, the nozzle stop ring. Pretty easy. Just for something interesting, I put together this little quick sketch of how this thing is going to be assembled. Remember this. That goes like that. What we're going to do when we make the engine bayonet lock ring and the bayonet lock ring shim, I want you to note that we're going to build that thing on this part here because that pin's in the way. You know, right here. Of course, you're going to leave the motor in there. Engine. Going to build that on here and slide that off, and after the tracks are cut, that thing will go right on top of there. Alright. There's going to be the first one. Got to make the shim first. Okay, get all these drawings out of the way. Get everything all set up and ready to go. I think we could use a scrap paper for that. Okay, so got this left over from last time. Okay, not gonna have that blow away. Okay, so what I need to do is make a new fresh line. Let's sharpen the pencil. Alright, let's get this going. Okay, here we go. There's kind of a cruddy edge of that paper. This line, just make it straight. Go like that. 1/375. That's 1 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1 3/8. You don't have to be extremely accurate on this because we're going to just throw the shim away. Let's see how long it is. Okay, now we got to get this out. Let's see, 3.437. 437. This will give the proper thickness and wrap on that thing. There you go. You can see that maybe, hopefully. All right. Okay, let's see. You know what, it's kind of hard to get that edge on there, so what I'm going to do, now I'm going to just go for the edge. Everything is kind of tricky to do. Okay, make sure that's really on there good. Make your dot. Get that over here. Get the dot. There's 2 dots there, created by the calipers, just for the sake of warming up. Okay, it's down all the way. And there's going to be the piece right there. Alright, set this junk aside. Don't need that. Maybe later. Okay, so get your handy dandy X-Acto knife out. Damn, what is that? Alright, I'm going to cut this one first. Like that. You know what? I'm gonna cut that whole line. Off like that, so I'll have a nice straight edge ready to go for another piece. Okay, so now we go ahead and cut that out. Right down the center of the line. Just going to get warmed up because the other pieces need to be accurate. Okay, set that aside. Put that back on there. You can throw that piece away because that's the crappy piece. There you go. Alright, so let's use this to get it started. Boy, I hope I got all the dimensions right on this thing. I'm gonna just take it in faith that I got the drawings correct. You've done this before. You don't need to roll this up real tight, just so. Okay, that'll work. Okay, now we just take this. See how that almost fits on there? Okay, see that gap in there? That shouldn't be there. Rats. Okay, let's see. That can't be right. No, that one can't be right. I need to go. Boy, look at that. It like fits perfectly on there. But I'm going to go a little farther because I want to have a little overlap on that. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? More wasting time, huh? Overlap. Glue shrinking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boy, you know what? I bet you anything I mismeasured this. Yep, look at that. 3.5. Oh, 3.5. Okay. Oh, I see. The drawing's not to scale. Okay, so if it's that, I could just go ahead. I don't need to measure that because that drawing is not to scale. That's what's jacking me up. I'm going to go ahead and make that 3.5. That way, when you put that on here, it'll overlap a little bit. Then you can tack it down with a little glue. Okay. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just take a scrap like that. Take your handy dandy glue. I want to just tack that down so that thing Very little glue. Okay. Boy, it's hard to move this thing around. Like that. You know what? I'm gonna put that on one side. Let's see, make sure that's not higher than that. Now I'm just gonna put a little glue on this. Very little. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make that the top. Okay, just in my case. Okay, make sure it's down all the way. And it's square. Ah. Okay. Yep, of course I'm doing this the hard way. It's only a shim. Okay? I don't care what it looks like. That's going to come off of there. What this does is, it's going to leave a slight gap, the thickness of a paper. So when we make that part, it will slide over the top of this easily. I made the mistake one time, the first time I made one of these, is not putting a shim on there. Then I couldn't get the darn thing on there. Stupid. Oh man, come on. Try it again. That was me, not a... Come on. Gotta refill that glue bottle, man. Okay. Lick my fingers, both of them, and then pull that tight as I could get it. Like that. There we go. And there's the shim. Okay, I'll turn it around. That was the ugly side. Don't want no ugliness on my video. Okay, there's that drawing. Next. Get that up here. What do we got going here? Engine bayonet lock ring. Oh, this one's going to be fun. Need to make a one 9 inches. That's the width of that paper. Okay, and then I got to make 4 of those. Because if you sit there and make those like 4 times as wide and then fold it and whatever, it'll come out all kind of wrinkly and everything. And this piece needs to be rolled up on there a lot neater, okay? So what we're going to do is glue these back to back on there, and then we're going to make one long strip. At least that's the plan. So I need a fresh piece of paper. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Okay, so we got 1 3/8, and I need 4 of them. I know that's 9. I already checked all that. 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1 3/8. Like that. Yeah, all this stuff is pretty much time consuming. Make sure my eye is in perfect line with that line there. From left or right, like you see it on the camera, it's like, oh, that guy don't have that perfectly in line. Yeah, I do, but you can't see it because it's not in perfect line with the camera lens. 1, 2, 3. Okay, move my head over. Okay, those are all right on. Okay, and then I'm gonna make marks on this one. Same deal. Here's something you can do. This is much easier. Take this, line that up. I'll make a mark here, a mark there, a mark there, a mark there, a mark there. Yeah, you could make a template, initial template, and then use that for these measurements. Makes everything easier. Okay, there's that. That, just like that. Okay, now, all the way across. See if I can angle this where you actually can see it. And I think you know what I'm doing here. Check that one, check that one. Keep the pencil at the same level, angle that you're using to do this step with. Okay, same angle, checks out. Just like that. There we go. Okay, just like that. You look at the bottom down there. I'm making the bottom look the same as the top. Notice the pencil is laying over. Well, that's the way I initially started this, so that's the way I'm going to initially leave it. Okay. Here we go with this. Let me cut this one out first, and then it'll be easier to cut the rest of them out. Right down the center of that line. Getting pretty good at this. Not even using my goggles. Magnifier goggles, set that aside. Right down the center of the line, just like that. And yeah, I'm holding my breath. If you don't hold your breath and you're breathing, that definitely will probably cause you to go off this line. So, hold your breath. If you have to take a breath or talk, stop the blade. Hold your breath and keep going. Okay, there's two. One more cut. Uh-oh. Sometimes this X-Acto blade has a mind of its own. Alright, let's put this back on. Okay, now we're going to see these lines on this thing down here. I'm going to use those as a reference. Okay, clean that off of there. Put really a weak line on there. Come on. You don't need a lot. Come on out of there. That's almost too much. Okay, just like that. I think you can see that. With your fingers, grab a piece. And we're going to put that on there like that. The overlap looks about 1/8 of an inch. Looks like my cuts or measurements weren't exactly perfect, but we did it good as we could do it. Okay, I'm holding that down, and that line all the way across there matches that one. Now I'm going to pull this down and look all the way across to match that line. Okay, then you press that down. Good, didn't stick. Next. Okay. Come on out of there. Just a tiny little, barely a little bead. Okay. Now, line this one up. I'm going to start with this side. That's the side I glued it on. Now, let's adjust this. Okay, double check it. Looks good to me. Press that down. On to the next one. Next one. Last one. Okay. line it up with that line on the cutting board. There's lines on there. Make it perfect as you can. No such thing as perfect, but we try to make it as good as humanly possible. Double check that. Okay, good. Press that down. Put your lid back on. There we go. And here we are. We have this strip. All right. Now we're going to take this and we're going to make a solid laminate. Okay, the glue is going to be solid all the way down on here. Okay. So I'm going to get it started. Okay, and like before, when you're rolling something up, you really don't need to spread it because it's going to self-spread. That's it. It's going to go off the camera. Make sure this is rather snug up against that shim. Okay. Double check it for gaps. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Okay, look at that. There is a gap there. So unroll it. Yeah, your fingers are going to get messed up from the glue. Come on. Kind of pinch that in there. Come on. Boy, it's being stubborn. That's why I'm not putting a lot of glue across a lot of that, because it's just, boy, it's always hard to get it started. Still a little gap in there. There, got it. Now the glue is still tacky enough where I could just put that down. Pay attention to this right here and this edge right here, and as you're rolling that up, keep it right on there. Okay, you can, the paper will kind of tweak a little bit, you know, you can bend it a little bit. Okay, now here's what we got. The glue that's already on there is holding. You can tell where the end of it is, and just go like that. Make sure you get the glue all the way to the edges. Okay, and we're going to just go a little at a time. Like that. Okay. Careful with this, it's soft. But right under here, that motor, engine. Okay. I'm trying to keep an eye on that edge right there. Okay, I'm pulling it rather snug as I'm rotating this. Okay. Okay. Good. Now it's going to get easier. Okay, I'm going to back that off a little bit. You see that? You can see how much glue I'm putting on there. Once it gets, rotated and down flat, that glue should press out evenly, or pretty much evenly, across the whole thing. Now what I'm doing, I got my finger on the back side here, and I'm pushing down as I'm rotating that. And also, again, I'm keeping an eye on that edge. You don't want no bubbles or uplifts or any gaps or anything. You want to get that down all the way. Now here's where some extra glue will slide up in there forward. Okay, I see a little glue right there. I'm gonna wipe that off. I don't want to glue this to that. You don't want to glue it down on that. So if there's some extra glue, remove it. Okay, you just keep going like this until you get the whole doggone thing. A little extra glue there. Okay, and then continue. Yeah, press it down pretty good. Try and control the straightness of how it's laying down according to this edge. The more perfect you could do that, the better this piece is going to come out. Okay, back that off a little bit. Get some more glue on there. All the way to the edge this time. I don't like rework. It's like I'm going about 1.5, 2 inches at a time. Okay. Just make sure you're getting it down all the way across. Get more glue squeezing out there. So I'm going to pull that off of there. Got to pay attention to that. If you're not paying attention to that and the glue dries, you're kind of hosed. Okay. Now see, the bad edge will be that side, which will be sanded down. If you hear that noise outside, they're just doing some road destruction out there. Sit there and they take months to do a job they could do like in 2 days. Should hire some of those Alaskan road workers, man. Had a big earthquake up there, and it knocked out a 1/4 mile of freeway. And those guys came in there and had the freeway opened up in 4 days. Now those are people that know how to work. Boy, looks like I got quite a bit of that paper left, but just keep going. That's what I did. I said 9 inches and 4 pieces of it, and that'll get the thickness that we need. Okay. Keep rolling that up tight against there. Like that. Okay. Maybe some extra. There we go. Not gar. It looks like I'm rolling it up a little bit off on here, but we take care of all that, as you'll see after the assembly. Boy. Okay, continue. Okay. Boy, I don't know if I just pulled that right out of the camera view. It's like, what the hell's he doing, man? Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? It looks like I am there. What do we got? 2 of those? Then you got the cover to go on there? You know what? I am going to change the dimensions just by going by what I'm seeing happening here. Because the glue also gives a thickness to this. All because I put maybe a wrong quantity on that. Okay. I'm looking at the thickness of this compared to that ring right there. And then we got the cover to put on here. Okay. That is a little bit fatter than that, which is what we want. Okay, let's see. Let me back that off of there. Gonna make that a better joint. Not the kind you smoke, but the kind that you join. There we go. Get that back on. And at this point, you could let this dry. Oh shoot, look at that. The sleeve is in there. Okay, so let's get the sleeve out of there. That wasn't supposed to happen. There's the sleeve. Whew. Okay. And then that fits right on there pretty good. Of course, this is going to shrink a little bit, so if it feels, oh, it's a little bit loose, don't worry. Okay, now we got that. Okay, should let this dry before you start sanding it. It probably will booger up my sandpaper. But you could just set that aside, let it dry for 3 or 4 hours, or even the next day. Okay, that's good. That's kind of jagged. That was my mismeasurement on there. Okay, I don't know, it looks like one of those was too big. Get the excess or most of it off. Don't need to get all 100% of it off. You don't need to level that out. Ah, what the hell? I'm going to put that sleeve back on there. Okay. Now I'm going to put that on top of there. Boy, if I only made that right. Okay. I can feel it tightening up already. Okay. Very good. Now, here's what we're going to do. Okay. This is the good side, okay? So I'm going to put the good side down this way. And then bring that right up on top of there. Now this is a little bit tricky. Okay? Eyeball right the dead center of that and make a line here. Now, don't move that. Just turn the whole thing over and do the same thing here. Ooh, I got that little hole there. Just like that. Just like that. For the hell of it, let's see how accurate we were. Should be able to turn that around. Line that up perfectly when I rotate it. Oh, look at that. Not too shabby. Okay, now. These pins have a width to them. So I'm going to eyeball that. Like that. Okay, right at the edge of that. Don't go out beyond that because you don't want a loose piece. Same here. Okay, try and make it parallel. I don't like that one. Okay. That is a little lopsided. That's why it looks a little off right there. But this is going to be made for the pen. Turn it over, do this side. To make the track fit the pen. I'm just eyeballing that. And yeah, if it sounds like I'm holding my breath, yeah, of course I am. Now, you could eyeball a square. Whatever the width of that is, that's got to be the height. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Well, here's an important thing. What is that? That can't be any higher than that, really. That's 1/4 of an inch. Okay, let's change our mind. We're going to do 1/4 of an inch. Otherwise, it'll hit this right here, and then you won't even get the thing in. Okay, 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the pen. Okay, it's a little bit less. Okay, might as well just come over here and mark that 1/4 of an inch on there, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna come over here. There's I'm just eyeballing that. Let's see, 1/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna make this track longer so it really locks in there. Okay, like that. Okay, let's see how wide our pen is. 1/4 of an inch. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. I'm trying to be accurate as I can and keep this simple as I can. That's a little better to come out a little bit small than too big. Okay. Erase that, erase that, erase that. That. There's our track for that one. Okay. Okay, whatever that to that is, that to that is, and that to that is. So, okay, so good. Put my finger on the edge of that. That's a handy dandy trick. Then make your hand real stiff, and you could just rotate this. You see it's off at all a little bit. You could fix that. Okay. 1/4 of an inch. This. Okay. Like that. Boy, see, it's kind of hard to measure that 1/4 of an inch. That's why sometimes eyeballing that will be the best thing to do. Well, we could do this. If you want to do this, put a piece of paper on there like that. Make a mark. I should have did that on the other side, like that, and like that. And move that over like that. Make a mark there. Make a mark there. I'm going to check the other side. Okay, like that. And there we got that. Okay, there's the track for that. Okay, that's that track. What the heck? Let's double check this. Okay, that's correct. Okay, already I can see that's not correct. Okay, good thing I checked that. Yeah, go ahead and make you a little paper template. Okay, there we go. Just like that. All right. Now, before I do anything farther, I'm gonna fix this. 9. Okay, we're gonna make it 2. Okay. Yeah, this thing's almost too thick. Let's see. What do we got there? I'm looking at the height of this compared to that, and I gotta have enough room for 2 more layers of paper. And that looks pretty doggone good. Okay. So I make 2 of these. Okay. That corrects that drawing. Yeah, I knew there'd be something eventually, a mistake. That's the first major mistake. Okay, now we got this. Got that. And like I said, if you wait several hours or even the next day, there, you already know what we're gonna do here. I'm just testing this to find places that didn't stick. Okay. There. Okay. Anything that's not sticking down, glue it down. Look at that. Okay. Some places on here that didn't really stick, but in this area, on this thing, we really need to make sure it sticks because we're going to be cutting that out. We don't need some flaying paper. Okay, check this side. Yeah, same thing over here. I'm not going to worry about the other side of it because there's nothing there. And you probably already figure out how we're going to handle that after it's sanded. Okay, clean that off. Pop that back on. Take our X-Acto knife. Okay, now we're going to cut this out. Okay, this is much easier if you cut this out when it's dry, but because I'm making a video and showing you how to do it, it's not cutting really clean. Okay, come over here, do that one. Right down the center of the line you made. And if it's cockeyed, then you can straighten it out with the cut. This is rather difficult to cut when it's wet. Okay, I'm just making multi-cuts. Makes a much cleaner cut. Okay, now what the heck? I'm gonna cut this one. And hopefully not my finger. Try and keep the blade straight up and down. If you got it left or right, it's not gonna be correct. Okay, let me get this one over here. That's the one that's got to be accurate. Yeah, I wish there was a way to instantly dry that white glue. But like I said, I'm filming this, so I got to do this step. Okay, is that cut all the way through? Not quite. Okay, come over here. I'm gonna give it a little extra. Don't worry about the wrinkles on mine because you won't get the wrinkles if you wait till it dries. But I'll be able to correct that when I'm done cutting that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. It's a thicker piece of paper. Okay. You could saw it. Okay, and now I gotta cut that last half of it out. See if I could saw it. Okay. Now I'm gonna kinda, because glue is really wet, reshape that a bit. Now I'm going to cut this one out. Let's see if I could just do a total saw on there. Looks like it's a little cockeyed out here, but this is the most important thing. This right here. Okay. Let's see if I can get that to go through. Oh, okay. There we go. See if I can cut my finger open. Bang. Damn, I missed. Bam! That's that one. Oops, gosh darn it. Okay. Alright. Right down the center of that line. Okay. So far this sawing method is working better on the wet paper. This is a little tricky. Boy, you don't want to get your finger. Yeah, it's not cutting the paper correctly. That's because it's not dry. That's why cutting it like this, maybe it's slower, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like it takes 7 passes to cut through that. I'm going to pull up on it. Good, okay. There's a little bit of crud in there. I will clean that up later if you got something like that on yours. there's something that might not be right there, that high spot. Okay, get rid of that. Alright, on mine I gotta reshape this. Okay, like that. Now I'm gonna come over here and check for any loose paper that didn't laminate. That's not too bad, I've seen worse. Pinch it, test this one. That one isn't too bad at all. Okay, just a tiny amount. Okay, test this side. That's good. That's good. And there's a little winky dink right there. Oops, way too much glue. Now I got glue all over my fingers. Okay. Yeah, this looks awful lopsided. That's why you should let the glue dry before you do that. But it'll be okay on mine because I know what to do to handle that. Now here's what you want to do. You want to round those sharp edges right there a little bit with the scissors. Just take a little. Careful you don't cut up here. Okay, I could go a little bit farther with that. Okay. Like that. Okay. Repeat over here. This is just to make it easier to get the pins started in there. Okay. I know I have that that shim in there. I gotta dig that out of there. Okay. There we go. Okay. What do you say? You know what? What I was gluing in there, that might have been the shim. It's like, okay, I'm gonna pull that out of there. Yeah, doggone it. I forgot that that's what was in there. It's easy to get out though, I think. Okay. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, now, see if you could find some more laminated layers here that need to be laminated. Boy, that's confusing. Okay, want to make this piece solid as possible. Okay, I'll remove the shim that was in there. Okay, I did make a boo-boo. I almost got that glued in there. I forgot that loose piece of paper in there. It's like, oh, what the heck? Oh yeah, what the heck? That was the shim. So, a little bit of repair, not bad. Okay. I think I could use a little bit more right there. Just push the glue in there and then, yeah. Okay, good, all right. Hopefully I can get this glue dried so I could do the next step. The next step actually is fitting. Let's see if this works. Okay, goes in there like that and rotates. Okay, you can see right here, I need to remove a little bit of material. All right, let's see, what's the easiest way to do that? I don't want to remove too much material. Okay, let's see what the other side looks like. Is it doing, okay, the other side, okay, that's even worse. Okay, let's see if I can get in here with my scissors and trim ever so small amount of that. Yeah, of course I'm gonna have to relaminate that. Broke the glue. Just take your time and like don't remove a lot of it, man. Just Little tiny bit. If it's dry, you did yours dry, it would be easier to use the X-Acto knife. God, that noise again. Because when it's dry, this won't be all soft. Okay, now I gotta use this thing. Come in here. Yep. I don't know of any other way to make such precision measurements. That's why we do it as we kind of go to make this fit. Will that rotate on there? Not quite. You can see it's close. Okay. Now if I had sandpaper, I could just sand that instead of trying to cut it with scissors. Oh boy, come on. Okay, just gonna test one side at a time. Okay, let's see. Okay, you could see, yeah, that's not gonna fit in there. Yeah, I wish my piece was dry. Oh, I gotta be careful doing this. See how easy that would be if it was dry? Okay. Okay. Now I don't want to have that fit loose on the final glue up because you don't want a loose rocket engine in there. Okay, I need to take a little bit more off right there. Okay, I know I got it this time. Okay, it looks kind of all bent and everything. Look at that. Okay, perfect fit. Now let's come back over to here. That one's getting closer. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut that off of there. Yeah, be very cautious. If this was dry, I would just take 100 grit sandpaper and do it that way. Okay, test it. Get on there. That's still a little bit tight. What I could do is come over here and take an ever so slight amount of that off. Boy, did too good of a job on that, making that solid. Okay, that's good. There'll be some, we'll be taking a little bit extra off of these when we're finally done. Yeah, look at that one. Looks like we're gonna have two sides of this thing. Okay, fix laminating that. Get on with it. Okay, look at that. The sometimes it's not the lamination that failed. It's just the paper coming apart in between the thickness of the paper. Okay, that does happen, and that's a good thing. If it keeps happening, then you just keep repairing it until the paper is incredibly solid. Okay, let's put this on there. Okay, we got that on there. See, I could feel this thing tightening up on here already as the glue is drying. That's why we needed to build this on top of the shim. Okay, now set this aside. Put that back on there. We got another piece to make. Let's see, battery looks like it's going down. 12%. Okay, so I think I'm going to change the battery. Alright, we just changed the battery. Good thing I looked, man, because it would have died in the middle of what I was doing here. Okay, so now I got both things going. Recorder, video camera, and again I got about an hour, or just less than an hour. Anyway, so far we got this, as you know. Okay. Got that fitting. Yeah, the idea is to get that to fit on here pretty snug. Not incredibly tight, but just snug. Get this out of the way. Okay, now we got to build the next piece. This. Okay. This is a cover. 4.5 by 1 3/8. Gee, I have this scrap left over here. Let's see if I got 4.5. Betcha I do. Ease of operation, baby. All right, look at that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't exactly do that right, but make 2 marks on there, not 1. But in my case, I'm going to just eyeball that and put that right on that line that I made. Maintain the pencil angle. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this on here. No need to use the X-Acto blade. There we go. Double check that. 4.5. Bring this out here. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remove a lot of material off those pins because it's got to be flush with the bottom of that. Okay. Put that back on there. I'm gonna turn mine around. Okay, let's see. Now, I think maybe you'll figure out what I'm going to do here. I'm going to roll that on here like that. Let's go a little farther. Make it tighter. This really makes it a lot easier to install. Okay, so we're going to be installing this on there, but we're going to make a solid laminate. Look at that, perfect fit. This is just a 1-layer cover for that. Okay. Now you notice this right here. I want that overlap to end up in this area, like right in here, and not overlap over on top of that. So, oh boy, that thing is really trying to get away. It's windy. Okay, let's see. I'm going to start that off like right here. All right. Could smooth this one out. Take a scrap. Okay. And what we're going to do is lay that on there. Like I said, it's always a little bit hard to start these things. Okay? Not going to press it down real hard yet, because you got to make sure that this is square and laying down flat. How is that? Okay, it's off a little bit. Okay. Tweak it. Test it. Tweak and test. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so now you got that started. You've already done this before, but we're going to put the glue on this piece for obvious reasons. You will go across there, then the glue will be on the piece on this area where it's not necessary. All the way to the edge. Okay. All the way on there. Just like that. Now give this a good tug. I think it's going down pretty flat. Okay. Can kind of tweak the paper a little bit as you're doing this, making sure it goes down flat. Okay, good. Alright. Okay, let's see. I see glue, it's still wet right there, so I'm going to overlap slightly. Yeah. All the way up to the edge of that. And remember, I'm pulling down pretty toughly on that so it spreads the glue as it's laying down. Okay. Okay, now finish this off. I can do it on here because there's nothing to worry about over here on that side. Okay, just like that. And we accomplished our goal. I didn't see that little gap in there. Okay. Boy, that's a nice fit. I know it's going to tighten up when that glue completely dries. Okay, that's the cover. Okay. Take a little sandpaper. After it dries, I'm only demonstrating this. There's that joint edge there. Some of that's going to show, some of it not. But I'm going to sand on top of the high spot on that paper to try and feather. Don't need to do that all the way. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And that's what that looks like, if you could see that in there. Okay. Fully laminated. I'm going to make a pencil mark. If you can see the width of that, right there. Okay. That'll let me know where to line that up on here. Like this. Now you don't want to force that on there. And as you can see, we got to remove a lot of material on there. So, take a sanding block, kind of go around it a little bit to conform with the roundness of the tube. We're going to take it down. I'm afraid to use that X-Acto knife. Try and keep your sanding block square. Check the edge of it like that. Okay, let's see how close it is. Okay, it's getting closer. Got to go down 20,000th of an inch or something. I'm gripping this on that ring there where that rocket motor is in there so I won't crush the tube. As you can see, I'm going on a rounding motion. Okay, it's a little high on the back. Okay, let's try that. Look at that. Almost there. You don't want to make it so tight that it's going to distort that little cover. Okay, it needs to be rounded more. That's what I saw. Okay. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now let's get this side started. Pretty darn close. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna let the glue dry on the end of that. It'll plug it up and then I'll have to sit there and waste more time with that. Yeah, these videos take a little bit long to film these steps, but I can't just stop in the middle of a step like this and then come back next week and it's like, oh, where the heck was I? Gonna finish the step. Okay, let's see. Round it more. Could tell by looking at it. Okay, let's see. Where is that? Let's see how I am on this one. Boy, almost there. Real close. Okay. Give it a little bit more roundiness. I'm looking down the edge of that. So just make sure it's square and it's not higher or lower on one side. So you just take your time taking that material down. Let's see. Get rid of some excess here. There's that line we made on there. Look at that. Okay. Slightly tight, but it worked. So I'm gonna just finish, and I'll remove a little bit off of each side. Okay. Take some 360 or 320 or whatever that is, and clean the pin up. Kind of angling this on there a little bit like that, and deburr the thing. Deburr it really good. Okay, still some burrs there. Come off on there. Okay. Doing this at an angle. If you look really close, you can see what I'm kind of doing. I'm curving that sandpaper so it'll fit in there. I know that ring, this ring, it looks a little bit unfinished and unjagged, but there's a reason for that, so leave it that way. I'll explain that later. Okay. Now that that's deburred, take that off, get rid of some of that extra glue. Okay, now we need to put glue back on the top of that, like that, go in a circular motion. Pinch it off around the edges. Okay, like that. And then pinch the edges as you're twisting. And then let that dry. See if it'll dry long enough for me to get that thing on there. Okay. Blow on it. Getting there. Okay. Is that dry enough? Okay, there's some extra crud there. You might want to dig that out. Okay, we got our lineup thing here. Alright. Okay, good. There's slightly more material on there than we need, which is good. If it was less, then we'd have a little problem. Okay, so here we're gonna sand that flat down to the other part of that tube, and the motor should be sitting in there just so slightly farther. Okay, that's good. That's all you need. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and take that off of there in case the glue sticks. Okay, get rid of this. And the last little piece, this shouldn't be too hard to do. Okay, let's see if I have 8 inches. Yep. Yay, Mr. Bill. Alright. Gotta go like that. I'm going to just use that scrap. This is going to be, I already memorized that. That's a 1/4 inch wide. Okay. 1/4 inch wide. 1/4 inch wide. Sometimes 3 is better than 2. Okay. Just like that. Then I want to cut that out. Okay, 8 1/4. That's what the drawing says. Okay. Okay, 8 1/4. Just like that. Okay. Get the X-Acto knife back out. La 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 la. Okay. And I'm going to cut that out. Now I can take a breath. Get rid of that. Put this back on. All right, now we got this. Do the ribbon trick. No presents, but gonna curl it just like that. All right, now we come back over here to this. Install that. All right. And it is possible that we might have to add a little bit more material on that. Okay. So, this here is going to be also a guide to when we make the nozzle, and we're going to glue it on that piece. It gives it something to stop up evenly with, you know, keep it level. Okay. Just like that. Gonna get it started. Okay. Give it just a couple of seconds. That's enough. Come back over here. It's okay if it undoes itself a little tiny bit. And push that down absolutely flush with that ring, right up against it. Okay, I know I've gone beyond the glue there. Oh, it pushed some of the glue in there, just like that. Okay. So this is going to be a two-layer deal. God, I hope I didn't take that out of the view. I want you to see what I'm doing here. Okay, there's that. Yep, we're gonna have to thicken that one up. Unfortunately. You don't have to, but make it look nice. Put that back on there. And there's this piece. Okay, I hope okay, good. My mark is still there. Okay, let's get this off of here. Let's make a mark right here. Okay, that way we have a mark here and a mark there and let's see. Okay, like that. Okay, and turn it all the way, and we make. I just make a little circle in there. Okay, you could do that on both sides. Well, actually, just one's enough. Okay, let's see. Okay, I usually like to make the circles. I have to draw that back on there after I sand it. Okay, personally, I don't like that. You can see that is thicker than that. So I'm gonna change the drawing to add. It looks like I need 2 more layers. So the fan fold that we did in laminate needs to be wider. That'll make that as thick as that at this point. Definitely. Over here it seems to be okay, but we'll put that on there, and then when it's all 100% dry, you just sit there and sand it off so both these rings are exactly the same thickness. But this is pretty cool. The bayonet part of this is completed. I like the way this fits now. It's drying and shrinking a little bit. Yeah, you can see a little gap in there, but we need that in my case. We need to be able to get that off of there. And then there's going to be a piece glued on top of that. Okay, let's see. Boom. Boom. Okay. You know what? We're going to do a final step today. Okay. There's that line we made on there. You see that? We got to cut that off. Okay. And then we're going to glue it in on this side. Okay. All right. Get the X-Acto knife out. Okay, and I'm going to cut that off of there. Going to use this X-Acto scroll saw action. What you might want to do is make a line across here. It's an alignment line. Okay? Hopefully that's all laminated good in there. Then when I'm cutting this, it's not going to pull the paper apart. Just like that. Okay. Now, make that look prettier. Whoops, don't get away. Not a lot. We're not going to remove a lot of material in there. I could see something that I want to do with that ring. Okay. Okay. Looks like a little bit of laminate, delaminated or whatever happened in between. Okay, so you know what to do on this. Ta-da. There we go. Now I'm going to put this ring, what's the good side? Boy, it doesn't really look like it matters. I made that cut so good. Okay, so you've kind of seen something like this before. Okay, I'm going to glue that in there. I'm putting a lot of glue on there because there is a gap in there and I want to close that gap. Okay, just like that, and then push it in. Okay, I need a scrap piece of paper. How about that? Okay, just like that. That makes it flush. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I need to pull that up a little bit. Boy, that's loose. Okay, I'm going to pull that up slightly because it don't have to butt up completely against this. But I needed a little extra space because on mine, it was too flush with the motor. I want the motor, the rocket engine, to sit in there a little bit better. Maybe it doesn't matter. I can't really do anything about that, can I? Yeah, it'll be okay. There's that other ring that we're going to glue on top of this, and I can just close all the gaps up. So, in my case, okay, I could feel it. It's starting to set a little bit. Okay, can you see that? How that's sticking out slightly above? I like that. Okay, I really would like to have that glue dry faster so it sets up. Okay, let's see, I wonder if I could stick the wrong end in there. Stick it in backwards just to hold that in place. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, I'm just having that sticking up ever so slightly. There. Being I'm here doing that, I can now push a bunch of glue in there. And the ring that eventually goes on top of that, it won't lie exactly flat, but it'll be flat across that part right there. So I could just fill it on the back side as something that's not going to show. But I needed a little extra space there because I don't want this to be so tight that I can't get the engine in there. Okay, you could see some gaps in there in the glue. Try not letting that move. I want to fill it completely. Okay. All these little extra tricky things you got to do. Now I'm going to eyeball that and make sure that's what I want. Okay, the engine will be all the way up inside of this tube, but there'll be a slight little gap in there, and that's what I want. Okay. All right. I'm not going to put the bayonet on there while that's drying. Anyway, there you go. Yay, Jaeger. That part's done. All right, there we go. Did I already say that? Probably. There's our build for today. We are almost done with this nozzle assembly thing. We just did the hardest part today. Anyway, that goes on there. I made these little line-up things on there so we could put that on there. Well, later we'll paint those on there. I'm not going to push that all the way in there because that thing might move from where I have it. But where's that engine? The engine, okay, it's still a little bit, it won't drop in there. So here's what I'm going to do. Like I said last time I was going to do, and I forgot to show you to do that first. Let's now remove some material. From the inside. That's it. Bring it back up to the camera. This feels weird holding it up so high, but if I hold it down into a normal feeling position, then you won't be able to see anything. I don't like that. Still a little bit tight. So what you could do is just keep sanding. I'll probably finish doing that later, but you could see what I'm doing. Just removing a little bit of material. Okay. And then I think from last time there was a little burr at the top of that. Okay, let's see what that does. Way better. Now you can see that sticking out. That's how you can get the thing out of the rocket. It gives you something to pull on. So in the bayonet, then that cone will be on here, and then you put that on there, and then the rest of that motor, it'll slide inside that ring, and then there'll be another ring glued on top of that, which we'll do next time. Like that. Like I said, I'm not going to put that on there. I'll just let it dry. All right. There we go. Not R or anything like that. Boy, it looks like I got dandruff. I got all this yellow paper. Yes, guys, got yellow dandruff. What the heck is going on there? Anyway, rain was supposed to come in here. It obviously fizzled out, and that figures. Anyway, next week we're going to get this a lot farther along, and hopefully, yeah, we'll make a shorter video. We're going to get this prepped and ready and nice looking and everything, and get it ready to put that nozzle on there. We have to build that nozzle, okay? If you remember from the small rocket, that nozzle was kind of a pain in the butt. This one will be easier to make because it's bigger, but it has a few more steps on it. But let's see if we can get video on this nozzle assembly completed in 2 more videos. One short one and one longer one, and boom, we'll be on to building the actual rocket. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe so you won't miss the next episode. Even hit a little bell if you want to be, you know, notified. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. This is the Gadget Man 369 signing off.